They say the sky is empty, a vacuum of silence pierced only by natural laws and human invention. But in 1899, Nikola Tesla heard something else. While experimenting with early wireless transmissions in Colorado Springs, Tesla intercepted a repeating signal, rhythmic, deliberate, and unlike anything he had encountered before. He believed it was not of this earth. Writing in Collier's Weekly, he described it as a message, perhaps from another world. At the time, few took him seriously. Wireless communication was in its infancy. But Tesla's lab was no ordinary place, and neither was the man. He claimed the patterns suggested intelligence, not static. He didn't know it, but this would be the first recorded mention of what would later become one of the most enduring space mysteries of all time: the Black Knight satellite. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, the Cold War is tightening its grip on global affairs. In the early 1950s, both American and Soviet radar installations began to detect an unidentified object in polar orbit. There was a problem. No country had yet achieved such an orbit. At the time, satellites were launched into equatorial orbits, easier, more energy efficient. A polar orbit required vastly more energy and precision. Yet the object was there, dark, silent, and moving counter to Earth's rotation. It didn't match any known satellite, it wasn't transmitting known frequencies, and it moved with a precision that defied the crude capabilities of early spaceflight. The military took note, but officially nothing was acknowledged. Then came 1960. A Time magazine article reported that the US Navy had detected a dark satellite in an unusual orbit. It wasn't one of theirs, nor the Soviets. It was later explained away as space debris, a lost casing from a Discoverer satellite. But the explanation came suspiciously late, and the object's behavior didn't align with any known debris patterns. Even stranger amateur astronomers had already observed the object. In Sweden, in the UK, in Australia. All saw the same anomaly, a silent shape crossing the sky, inconsistent in brightness, unlike conventional satellites that reflected sunlight predictably. It was dubbed the Black Knight. The name originated not from NASA or the Pentagon, but from the whispers of those trying to make sense of the anomaly. A knight because it seemed armored, black because it gave nothing away. Throughout the 60s and 70s, sightings continued. It was seen sometimes with the naked eye, at other times via long exposure photography. No one could say exactly what it was. Hypotheses abounded: Soviet spy tech, American reconnaissance, a captured meteorite. But none explained its consistency, its behavior, or its origin, decades before a robust satellite infrastructure even existed. Meanwhile, back in the scientific community, questions quietly circulated. Some recalled Tesla's early signals. Others noted that a Norwegian engineer, Jürgen Hals, had reported similar anomalies in 1928. Echoes of radio transmissions returning seconds later, something not consistent with known propagation methods. These long-delay echoes became part of the mystery. Some speculated that a reflective object in Earth orbit could cause them. Perhaps the same object Tesla had heard, but again, no confirmation, only patterns. Then came December 1998, Space Shuttle mission STS-88, the first mission to begin construction of the International Space Station. During a spacewalk, astronauts photographed an unusual object near the shuttle, angular, dark, asymmetric. The photos were released by NASA. The object was unlike any known piece of space hardware. It didn't match known modules, tools, or debris, and then the images vanished from the spotlight. NASA later stated the object was a thermal blanket lost during a previous EVA, but amateur image analysts disagreed. The object appeared far larger, its geometry too deliberate, too alien. It was dubbed, again, the Black Knight. Public interest surged. The images became icons on internet forums, conspiracy sites, and even mainstream media segments. But the mystery only deepened. NASA didn't address the public's questions beyond the initial blanket claim. No mission logs mentioned an object of that size being lost. And if it was a thermal blanket, how did it maintain an orbit for days? The photos circulated, then faded. The story was buried. But the object, or something like it, continued to be observed. Amateur astronomers still log sightings of untracked satellites moving in irregular paths, sometimes vanishing mid-course. Radio hobbyists continue to scan for anomalous signals, citing irregular bursts in ultra-high frequencies, some with repeating intervals. Nothing confirmed, nothing disproved. The idea that something, possibly ancient, watches us from above is not new. In 1954, before Sputnik ever launched, UFO researcher Donald Keyhoe claimed the US Air Force was tracking 2 unidentified satellites orbiting Earth. His claim was dismissed, but years later, declassified documents revealed that the military had, in fact, been tracking unknown objects. Whether these were the same objects Keyhoe mentioned, or the now mythic Black Knight, is unclear. But the convergence of Tesla's early signals, Cold War orbital anomalies, and unexplained photographic evidence gives the Black Knight more credibility than most so-called space myths. If it's real, what is it? A derelict probe from a lost civilization, an extraterrestrial monitoring station, a piece of Cold War tech so advanced it remains classified even today? We don't know. But something is there, and if it has watched us for over a century, the real question is not how long it's been here, but what it's waiting for. After the photographs from STS-88 faded from headlines, something unusual happened. Interest didn't die down, it multiplied. Independent researchers began to scrutinize every frame from the mission, examining the object's shape, angles, and apparent motion. Theories flourished, not just from conspiracy forums, but from aerospace engineers, amateur astronomers, and defense analysts who found the thermal blanket explanation difficult to accept. The object didn't tumble. It didn't drift in a way consistent with known orbital debris. It held a posture, and it cast shadows inconsistent with nearby structures. Its profile, angular, black, reflective, was unlike any known object deployed by NASA. But NASA remained silent. The agency, long known for controlling narrative, never released follow-up reports, no identification logs, no comparative object analysis. To this day, the STS-88 object remains a subject of speculation, officially dismissed, yet never addressed in detail. And that silence, that institutional refusal to engage, has only deepened the mystery. While NASA's official archives filed the object under lost debris, documents from around the same time reveal that the US Department of Defense and its partner agencies were investing heavily in unacknowledged orbital surveillance systems. Between 1990 and 2000, black budget allocations to the National Reconnaissance Office skyrocketed. Satellites were launched under secret designations, often with no public record. The timing, curiously aligned with renewed interest in so-called non-cooperative targets, unidentified, unresponsive objects in Earth orbit. One such satellite, PAN, Palladium at Night, launched in 2009 under total secrecy. It was not officially acknowledged. Amateur satellite trackers detected it, but its behavior defied norms. PAN changed orbits multiple times, a costly and complex maneuver suggesting a mission of high strategic value. Analysts speculated it was built to eavesdrop on foreign satellites. Others believed its purpose was to monitor something else. It's not alone. Documents surfaced in 2011 suggesting the existence of another platform known internally as Misty, a stealth satellite designed to be invisible to ground-based tracking. Launched in the early 1990s, Misty was presumed lost after launch, but whispers among the defense community said otherwise. Misty was operational, and it had a target profile never disclosed. Could such satellites be used to track or monitor objects like the Black Knight? Officially, the answer is silence. Unofficially, the implications are vast. There is a growing belief in the aerospace community that not all satellites are terrestrial in origin. In 2015, the European Space Agency logged an anomalous object in high Earth orbit, exhibiting no known propulsion or transponder signature. It remained visible for only hours, then it vanished. No nation claimed responsibility, no one followed up. This pattern, detection, silence, disappearance, has become the hallmark of the Black Knight enigma, and it goes deeper. In 2016, a leaked transcript from an intelligence contractor suggested the existence of an orbital surveillance program titled Sentinel Echo. The program, if real, was designed not to monitor human assets, but to track non-cooperative foreign bodies in cislunar space. The language was vague, but the implication was unmistakable. They were watching something not built by any known government. Meanwhile, data from ground-based radar and amateur tracking stations continues to suggest that something anomalous occupies polar orbit. It doesn't transmit on public frequencies. It doesn't maneuver like debris, and it's persistent, cited by amateurs as recently as 2020. So what is it? There are three prevailing theories. The first, alien probe. Some believe the Black Knight is a passive observation platform, possibly ancient, deployed to monitor Earth's development. The idea, once relegated to science fiction, gained traction after MIT researchers published a paper proposing that alien civilizations might send long-duration probes to observe planets showing technological potential. Such probes would remain hidden, unannounced, uncommunicative. Silent sentinels. The second, Cold War relic. A secret platform launched during the height of US-Soviet competition, perhaps as an early stealth surveillance unit or experimental eavesdropper. This theory ties into declassified operations like Corona and Keyhole, where the US tested radical imaging satellites decades before acknowledging them. Could the Black Knight be an artifact of a program so black, even today its existence is classified? The third, an anomaly in orbital debris patterns. A coincidence, an optical illusion compounded by decades of speculation. NASA's stance, the thermal blanket theory, falls under this view, but it fails to account for pre-space age sightings, Tesla's transmissions, and the object's persistent reappearances. None of these theories explain everything, but perhaps that's the point. The Black Knight isn't a singular object, or even a specific artifact. It's a pattern, an anomaly that refuses to conform, observed, denied, rediscovered. And in that silence, in that refusal to explain, lies the most disturbing possibility. Someone knows what it is, and they're not telling us. As we entered the 2020s, the pace of satellite deployment exploded. Commercial players like SpaceX, OneWeb, and Amazon began launching vast constellations, thousands of satellites blanketing low Earth orbit, promising global internet and continuous surveillance. This orbital expansion has created an unprecedented opportunity, the possibility of global coverage by private sensors. But amid this visibility, the Black Knight has gone quiet again. No confirmed visual sightings, no signal anomalies, no unexplained orbital profiles logged by civilian networks. Has it finally disappeared? Or has it simply moved into a region beyond our current reach? Cislunar space, the zone between Earth and the Moon, is now under new scrutiny. NASA's Artemis missions, China's lunar ambitions, and Pentagon initiatives like ROCC, Rapid Optical Coverage Constellation, suggest that governments are preparing for a new theater of orbital presence. But buried in these proposals are lines hinting at another motive: situational awareness of foreign artifacts. In military parlance, foreign artifact doesn't mean debris. It means object of non-domestic origin, a satellite, a probe, or something that doesn't fit any known category. It's not just governments. Civilian astronomers using high-powered optics have logged irregular reflections, transient flashes in orbital paths with no corresponding catalogued object. When reported, these observations vanish into silence. Often the platforms logging them go offline temporarily. Funding disappears. Projects stall. Why? Because orbital secrecy is not just a defense policy, it's an industry. The US Space Surveillance Network, NORAD, and the NRO track tens of thousands of objects, but publish data on only a fraction. Requests for information on unclassified yet unlisted satellites are routinely denied, under the excuse of national security. Meanwhile, programs like Silent Barker, a joint Space Force NRO initiative, are openly described as tools to identify unacknowledged payloads. The sky is full, but the truth is filtered. And this brings us back to the Black Knight. Whether it's an ancient observer, a Cold War phantom, or a metaphor written in shadow, its story isn't over, because it revealed something that remains true today. That space, for all its silence, is crowded with secrets. Secrets buried in orbital inclinations, in frequencies no one admits to using, in photographs published, then buried, and in the space between what's launched and what's acknowledged. Tesla believed he had received a message not of this Earth. He spent the rest of his life chasing it, tracking signals, building towers, believing the sky contained intelligence. Today we've inherited that belief, transformed into infrastructure. But instead of seeking contact, we hide behind surveillance. We build machines not to reach out, but to watch in secret. And maybe, just maybe, the Black Knight watches back. Because in a world where satellites can see everything, the most powerful one is the one we're not supposed to know exists. Welcome to the Forbidden Index,